So for any of you that know me at all, you should know that I watch very carefully every penny and pound that I spend, because it's far easier to save money than it is to go out and earn or make money. So in this particular situation, I was taking a look at one of our phone bills, and I realised that there are several pounds on there over and above the limit. Now I found this a bit strange because my plan is unlimited. So in my mind, I spend a set amount of money every month because I know that I use it a lot. I'm always on the phone, I'm always sending messages, I'm always browsing the internet, I'm always traveling the country. So I don't really want to be limited by how much I can use the phone, worrying that it's going to trip over the limit and spend a whole lot more money. However, despite all of that, when I looked at the bill, because I routinely look at the bill, even though it's supposed to be a fixed amount, and every time I normally look at it, it's the same fixed amount, this time there was a few pounds on top of it. So I looked at what that was for, and it said picture messages. Now I don't use picture messages, and there's no way that the phone should be sending picture messages, but when I went on to chat support, and yes, I did take the time out to go to chat support to see what this few pounds was all about, because the principle of the point here is I don't want this few pounds trickling onto my bill every single month, because that's going to add up, and if they get away with it with a few pounds here and there, it will slowly creep up, and then sure enough I'm spending a lot more money than I originally anticipated. Now, cutting a long story short, too late perhaps, it turns out that this wasn't picture messaging at all. It was simply the fact that the messages sent were too long. They exceeded 160 characters, which was, if you recall, the original length of a text message. So if a text message goes beyond 160 characters, it becomes a multimedia message and therefore charges you, wait for it, 65 pence per message that was sent. Now, I know most phones have got the option to turn off MMS, and some of you probably don't even remember what MMS is. But if you don't know what it is, and particularly if you don't have it turned off and you don't want to be charged 65 pence or whatever it is that your network provider charges you, I would suggest that you take all of the following steps. You make sure that MMS is turned off in the settings on whichever phone you are using, and then you contact the provider, as I did today, to say, stop charging me for any MMS, because I don't want to be charged 65 pence just because one of the text messages goes a few characters over the 160 character prescribed limit. And the main reason for this video is because I think it goes hand in hand with the times that we are in, trying to save every few pounds here and there. And by bringing you this video, I hope that it will urge you not just to check for the extra few pounds that might have tripped onto your bill, but for each and every one of your bills. If you find a few pounds here and a few pounds there that shouldn't be on the bill, or you can avoid in some other way, sure enough, those will add up with what we call the latte factor, which I will credit and link in the description below. Contrary to what one nice chap said in the previous comments to say that I didn't credit and didn't mention who the original author was, I did, by an American author, David Bach, called The Latte Factor, which I will link in the description below. The book is called The Latte Factor by David Bach and John Mann. It's a fantastic book, and whilst I didn't come up with the name Latte Factor, I have always applied the principle throughout my life, which is finding the little trickles of money here and there that are losing you money on a regular daily basis or monthly basis, that if you can save them all, you end up saving quite a significant amount of money. So I'm going to put the link to this book in the description below, and I suggest you go and read it because it will open your mind to lots of different ways that you can save money. The one classic one, which is why the book is called Latte Factor, is every single day I drive past coffee shops and I see people buying their coffee, which is £3 or £4 or whatever they cost these days. I make my coffee at home and take it with me. But whatever they cost, if they spend it once or twice a day, if you think about this, at least 5 days a week, a coffee or two and a biscuit or a cake every single day might be at least £7 times 5 days, £35 a week, which when you bring this out to the grand scheme of things could be £140, which if you multiply by 12 is £1,680. Yes, I know maths and calculations can do wonderful things with numbers, but that's exactly the point, because if you miss these few pounds every single time you spend them, they can add up into a huge amount of money. In this case, 1,600 odd pounds on my example of coffee and cake every single day for 5 days a week while you're out at work. But if you look at the example of the bill that I just mentioned, even though it was about £3, rounding it off. If that was happening on, let's say, 3 or 4 occasions, i.e. 3 or 4 different bills every single month for the whole year, you're suddenly talking about hundreds of pounds a year, which can make a big difference. So like I said, my recommendation is you do pay attention to the few pounds here and there, because if you take the time to go through it and eliminate those costs, you can save a huge amount of money every single year. If this has opened your eyes in even the slightest, please do smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.